to succeed in life, you must understand these 4 basic temperaments of a man. The 4 basic temperaments are divided into 2. The introverts and the extroverts. The extroverts are those who talk. The introverts are those who don't talk. Reserved. Withdrawn. They like an isolated life. They don't want to be in any association. They want to be themselves. They look at you as if they didn't see you. They withdraw to their shell. They hate relating. Extroverts, introverts. They are very brilliant and very intelligent. The extroverts are the shouting, running up and down. They keep association. They keep relationship. They talk to people. They jump up and down. Now, I don't want to go too much to detail about the 2 classes. Now, the extroverts are divided into 2. And the introverts are divided into 2. The extroverts made up the sanguine and the choleric. The introverts made up the melancholic and the phlegmatic. So in the school of the extrovert, there are the sanguine, there are the choleric. In the school of the introvert, there are the melancholic and the phlegmatics. This study will give you a detail. If you go through this study, you get a detailed analysis. But let me make a summary for you, so that I just want to make a summary, so that when you see any man, you will know where he belongs to. The moment you stay with somebody, within 5 minutes, you know where he belongs to. And where we are going, that the moment you know where a man belongs to, you'll be able to know why he's behaving the way he's behaving and how to relate with him and to handle him. Listen, if you get married and you don't understand these 4, and you don't understand where you belong to and where your spouse belongs to, you have planned to fail. Most of the fightings and strife that take place in marriage, all the quarreling, they are based on the ignorance of this temperament. Why somebody behave in the way he's behaving. Let's look at the 2 divisions of the... what's the time? Oh boy, bring this clock here for me, so that we know. Bring the clock here for me. Number 1, the sanguine. Listen to me. They call the sanguine Mr. Cheerful. Mr. what? Look at the way you are listening. Mr. what? Mr. Cheerful. Yoruba call it Oloyaya. Mr. Sanguine, Yoruba call him Oloyaya. Yeah, Oloyaya. Oloyaya. That's what Yoruba call him. Those of in Yoruba, you understand the meaning of that. Put the clock there, or you put it on the chair. What are the strengths of Oloyaya, Mr. Cheerful? He has a pleasant personality, very friendly, all the time cheerful. You don't see him without smiling. Every time you see him, just me smiling. Very sacrificial. He can remove his eyes and give to you. There is nothing he can't give. Very jovial. Even if you are crying, the moment you see him, you will laugh. Very loving. Very open. If you want to understand who a sanguine is, come to our house. Just look at Miracle. Stay with Miracle for 5 minutes. Go home. That's sanguine. Let Miracle meet somebody that is just coming from Russia, that he has not known before. In 2 minutes, they are friends. Sometimes, even when we are in the house, I don't know where those his words are coming from. Why are you looking moody? Why you no? This is the day that the Lord has made. That when it just be like, hey, what, you need rice? I'm going to give you rice. Come on, look at it. They asked him to take Adeboye to hospital. We travel. I came back this evening. Adeboye came. I said, Daddy, tell Miracle not to follow me to anywhere. He almost disgraced me in the hospital. See the way he was talking before. See the way he was approaching me before. I told him to keep silent. He couldn't keep silent. I told Adeboye, he can't keep silent. That is our nature. He can't keep silent. It's not possible. Mr. Cheerful. Anywhere you get to, there must be noise there. It is difficult for him to keep quiet. Cha, 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 cha. Just go and meet Miracle and stay with him for 5 minutes. You understand who a sanguine is. Very sociable, helpful, frank, transparent, uninhibited, cautious, generous, forgiving, compassionate, fun to be with. Characters of sanguine. What are the weaknesses of the sanguine? What are the weaknesses of the sanguine? Is too much of a talkative. They talk before they think. They over-exaggerate. If you are the kind of person that wants something to be kept, there is nothing to talk about. They create something. They just must talk. Now, that's another keg of tea. Let me see whether it is here. Of the sanguine. But we'll not go into that now because of time. Number 2, the second basic temperament is the choleric. They call it Mr. Commander. Mr. Commander. Yoruba call him Apashewa. What are the strengths of the choleric? Hardworking, dynamic, bold, frank, open, full of action, goal setter and goal getter. They are great achievers. Choleric. They are independent. They possess leadership qualities. They are good organizers. They are determined, courageous, ambitious. They have a keen mind. They are achievement prone, ambitious. Those are the positive characteristics of the choleric. What are their weaknesses? Weaknesses of the choleric. They are very proud. They are too hard. They find it difficult to listen to others. Their opinion must be respected at all times by everybody. They are not always caring. They talk to people without counting how those people feel. They are not bothered. That's their weaknesses. Now listen. One of the dominant mark of the choleric is that they are too bossy. Very bossy. The choleric wants at all time to see himself as the best person and the greatest person, the person on top. If you want to fight, question him. You don't. When the choleric says a statement, just take it. Don't give a reason why you won't do it. Just do it. Don't ask him question. Don't criticize him. You criticize him, that's your end. They are too bossy. They don't listen to another person's opinion. They don't want to mind whether they are hurting you or not. They are also talkatives. That the sanguine. Their opinion must be respected and be obeyed at all times. You can't stay with them without fighting. Fighting is their nature. They talk to you as if God did not create you. They don't have respect. Sometimes after they have talked like that, if you now come tomorrow we are talking, they said they didn't say it, that you are lying on them. You are lying on them. Choleric. They are very domineering and dictatorial. They don't want anybody to confront them. Choleric. 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 I have 4 children. The strategic choleric among my children is intercession. Because my wife is also choleric. She carried that trait from her mom. Intercessor, our firstborn, 90% choleric. He doesn't want anybody to criticize her. And when we want to do anything, she said this and this and this and this and that. Everybody must go ahead and follow it that way. Choleric. Very bossy. Very dictatorial. And when choleric talk to you, you can enter the lagoon and die. They are not diplomatic. They don't know how to talk with some wisdom. No. As far as they are concerned, they want to be frank. They want to say the way they see it. They don't know whether this thing is okay to be said like that or whether we should keep it. No. It just has to be said like that. The choleric. Their weaknesses of the choleric. I think we have mentioned it. The marital future of the choleric. What is the marital implication of the choleric? Is here. It's about a page. About a page. Marital implications of the choleric. If you marry a choleric, how do you relate with him or her? If you have a choleric among you, how do you handle him? How do you relate with him or that? How will you live with him so that your marriage will not break? You will get those answers here. Number 3. The third temperament is the melancholic. The melancholic is Mr. Perfectionist. Mr. Perfectionist. Yoruba call it Olofitoto. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni. Olofitoto, Mr. Perfectionist. Melancholic. Their strength. Very neat. They are detailed, calculative, peace-loving. They talk less. Let me show you what this one says about them. They're melancholic. They are brilliant. They are creative. Lover of music and art. Hardworking. They are analytical. They are cautious, thoughtful, prudent. They do their work well on time. Faithful and loyal. Self-sacrificing and like to help his friends. Self-discipline and finish what he undertakes. They are orderly, loving but not want to befriend, thoughtful, considerate, love the things of God, adjust quickly to discipline. Those are the characteristics of the melancholic. Their weaknesses. What are the weaknesses of the melancholic? They are always moody, always feeling depressed. They are critical. Sometimes they carry poor self-image. They are touchy. They nurse grudges. They are not always, they don't take it positively sometimes when you correct them or rebuke them. They grumble. Listen, the melancholic, because they are perfectionists, they hate people around them making mistakes. They are always difficult to please. They are too rigid. They hardly change. Stubborn. They find it difficult to forgive. They keep malice. They are most of the time sad. They carry bottled emotions. These are characteristics of the melancholic. Sometimes the melancholic sit down and think. They think deep. Sometimes they think and conclude on what may not be the reality. You come to the melancholic, you sit down like this. How are you, Sister Rachel? I hope you are fine. You sit down like that, watches you. He may be watching you occasionally. As he's watching you, the way you are looking, he reads meaning to the way you are looking. and begin to conclude that it is because of this that is making you to think that way, which may not be the reality. They are always full. They read negative meaning to things. Negative meaning to things. And if they find anything that is wrong or that is not right or they don't understand, instead for them to ask, they may not ask, they bottle it. They conclude that it is because of them that is making you to act or behave that way. They are prone to carrying bottled emotions. Sometimes they think that if they ask you a question, you may be angry, you may fight. And in order to avoid fighting with you, they bottle what is inside of them. They hardly make friends. They like isolated life. They don't like to associate with people. They like isolated life. Most of the time they want to stay alone. They want to live alone. They want to live alone. They want to stay alone. They want to subject themselves. Sometimes they hate people disturbing them. They hate people disturbing them. They like soloist life. They hate a life of association. They are very analytical. They are deep thinkers. They are very ingenious. They are creative. But they don't give themselves to openness. Most of the time they are closed. You see a melancholy, he may be thinking of killing you tomorrow, but you won't know from him. He won't tell you. And you can't read it from his face. That's a melancholic. If you marry a melancholic, you will need a great deal of wisdom and understanding to be able to relate with him and enjoy the marriage. But if you know how to relate with him, they can make the best of home. They can make the best of home. If you know how to relate with him and treat him, you can make the best of your marriage in life. Because of time, the future marriage of the melancholic, we will leave that area for now. You can get this one from maybe let me see whether it is there. Yeah, there is something like that. Future marriage of the melancholic. The last of the 4 temperaments is the phlegmatic. The last of the 4 basic temperaments is the phlegmatic. They call him Mr. Pliable. Mr. Pliable. The melancholic is Mr. Perfectionist. The phlegmatic is Mr. Pliable. Mr. Pliable is an easy man. He has an easy-going lifestyle. He does not talk too much. He is loving, careful, meek and gentle. He is a good follower. He is a good follower. The weakness of the phlegmatic, fearful, is a procrastinator. He always procrastinates. I will do it tomorrow. I will do it next week. I will do it next week. I will do it next week. You know why? One of the basic weaknesses and characteristics of the phlegmatic is that he finds it difficult to take decision. He is not a decision taker. They are afraid of taking decision. They are slow to take action in life. I have met a lot of very many men that are phlegmatic. Listen to me. That was why I told you that in marriage, most of the time in marriages, opposite attract. In marriage, I've said it over and over again, I've discovered that if not all, more than 90% of most marriages are union of opposite. In marriages, opposite attract. If the same attract is going to lead to destruction and disaster in marriage. Because, like I told you, it takes positive and negative for currents to flow. The positive and positive does not support the flow of current. For current to flow, the negative and the positive must meet. When God was doing the work of creation, he could have created a man and a man. But he created a man and a woman. So opposites attract in nature. So when a choleric is going to marry, for the marriage to succeed, he must marry a phlegmatic. If a choleric is going to marry, for the marriage to succeed, he must marry a phlegmatic. The choleric is bossy. Whatever the decision he has taken, it is compulsory for it to be carried out. The phlegmatic can't take decision. If he will take decision, he is too slow in decision taking. So when the choleric marries a phlegmatic, I have seen men like that are choleric. By the time they get married, everything they do in life, it is their wife that are on stage. When our ministry started, the Edegbe retired as a DGM of Union Bank, Deputy General, the highest echelon of Union Bank. But there is nothing the man could do in life. To buy shoe, Edegbe can stay for 1 year or not knowing which shoe to buy. By the time the wife comes, cha. What that man have been waiting for 1 year, the woman does it in 2 seconds. They have gone. For years, the man had been at Union Bank. He bought land he couldn't build. Or the woman came to me. The woman came. It was the woman that bought gravel that went to carry cha. In less than 1-2 years, they are dedicating the house. Leave it for the man till the man die. He won't buy one. If a phlegmatic therefore marry a phlegmatic, that is the end of their life. They will die a total failure. Or you want a melancholic man to marry a melancholic lady. One day the two of them will commit suicide. The man will just wake up to see that the lady has died on the bed. Because the melancholic... He has told him. He now marry another man that come down and say, The two of them will die one morning. That melancholic lady needs a sanguine man. He needs a man who is sanguine. The temperament of Oloro is different from temperament of Miracle, different from that of, I know each one of them. So I know who they will marry. The moment they come to me about who they marry, I need to know the person. I tell them, you can't go with this one. No. Drop it. The boy is marrying now is phlegmatic. They go. So I said, that's good marriage. Go ahead. But the boy is brilliant. You are stupid. That's what it takes. Somebody that can receive all those who are not talking and receiving. Intercessor will talk for hours. The boy will speak. If you see who is of the same temperament with you, and you go along in marriage with that person, round off tonight to show you. Yeah, in 10 minutes. What are the marital implications of the temperament? Listen, let me round off with you with this one. And then we close this meeting. What are the marital implications of the basic temperaments? Number one, the implication of this temperament, the understanding of the implication of this temperament is that you must understand that marriage is work. That's the first thing you must understand. Marriage is work. Wow. I repeat again. Everybody hearing me, whether you are married or you are not yet married, understand that marriage is work. Marriage is what? Answer me. Marriage is work. Marriage is what? Marriage is what? Work. 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 Great marriage can't fall down from heaven. Great is not a gift. Great marriage is not by the anointing. Great marriage is a function of work. Work. The degree of the success of the marriage is a function of the work you put into it. You don't apply yourself to work in it, the marriage won't work for you. It won't work for you. That's the first implication. Kabbalah. Now, you are coming from Ore to get married to a lady in Ikoyi. Now, you are 27. The lady is 25. The lady has been living in Ikoyi in a particular way for 25 years. You have been living in Ore or Mafoluku in a particular way for 27 years. And you want to blend him to your own nature and lifestyle, and you are not God. It is work, sir. It is work, sir. Before marriage can come to begin to look like we can stay together, you will have passed 5 years. 5 years of terrible crisis. 5 years. Even if you marry an angel, that will be the situation, sir. Marriage is work. The success of the marriage depends on the work you are able to put into it. You must see the need to work on yourself and see the need to work on your spouse. You will work on yourself. The reason why most marriages crash and fail is that Either the man or the woman wants his partner to change, but refuse to work on himself. In marriage, as long as you are pointing accusing finger to your partner, the marriage won't go forward. The best way is when you point a finger to your partner, see the four pointing to you. When you do like this, four are pointing to you, one is pointing. So don't focus on the error of your partner. Look inward again to see your own error. See what you will do to work on your partner, and the work you will do to work on yourself. If you are wanting your partner only to change, you are a failure. It won't happen, sir. So the success of the marriage is predicated upon your degree to change and her degree also to change. 25 years in a particular way, in a particular environment, under a culture, under a doctrine, under a tradition. You are coming from another contrary doctrine and tradition for about 27 years coming together. For her to blend to exactly what you desire, give her 25 years that she has been living. He has just come to your environment. Let her stay in your environment for 25 years. You also live with her for the next 27 years. Marriage will blend. I told you, marriage is fighting and reconciling. Fighting and reconciling. Fighting. Marriage is, that lady is there. You are here. By constant crisis, you leave your place, move towards her. She leaves her place, move towards you until the two of you meet at the center. That's marriage. Not one person staying where he is, expecting the other person to come and meet him there. It won't work that way. Everybody will move from where you are, and then we meet at the center. Don't be too rigid. Any marriage that is based upon rigidity will collapse and fall. 3. The third implication of the temperament is that both of you must develop the spirit of patience, tolerance, and accommodation. The spirit of patience, tolerance, and listen, any more to blend him to my nature, you must have patience and ready to accommodate him. Don't develop a repelling spirit and a repelling mind. Accommodate. That's how it is in marriage. If I didn't accommodate all this innocent, I would have done myself. Accommodate ourselves. Accommodate. The more we quarrel, the more we understand ourselves. The more we're able to relate with ourselves. If we didn't quarrel, we won't understand ourselves. We'll not be able to relate together. Ready to accommodate. No matter what your spouse, your wife, your husband is, be ready to accommodate. Accommodate her in spite of her weaknesses and her shortcomings. Accommodate her. Wow. We got married in 1994, myself and my wife. 1994, December 17, 1994. I don't know, it should be around. There are more reasons for us to have divorced than the reasons that kept us together. More reasons, sir. I can't find a day that myself and my wife did not quarrel. There is no day. We went to Akoka. And then we were talking about this marriage. I said, we are going to do it. He said, no. And you know, choleric. Yeah. If you want, said, don't talk like that. Why are you talking? No, that's what I go to. Why? I said, but you can't talk to me like because I am the person that we pay is not you. The man that has the economic power dictates the direction. This money is not coming from your pocket. It is me that is paying, that is decided. He said, who told you you are the owner of the money? Any money you have belongs to the two of us. I said, did you help me to go and labor where I went to do laboring? I collected the money. Say, but that's not that. There's no money. Which money do you want to do that? Okay, come and take that salami. And you know when my wife talk? He will talk as if you should jump into the lagoon. He said, take that. Take that. I said, now you talk. What if I do it now? Will you shoot me? He said, you try it. And the money is my own. It's not our money. It's my own money. He did like, he said, you try it. You If I were not to be a man that can accommodate, but I have reached a point there where she cannot offend me, because when we first got married, I didn't understand those things. Every time I was always bitter. Every little thing like this will blow up. Every little I said, but look at the Bible study with you. He said, which Bible study did you? But by the time of be ready to develop the spirit of patience, tolerance, and accommodation. You can't accommodate, you can't succeed in marriage. You are not patient, you are not tolerant, you can't go for a marriage. Be ready to accommodate. Accommodate people in spite of their weaknesses and their shortcomings. Accommodate. Accept them. Take them for who they are. Number 4. Locate and appreciate the good points or the strength in your spouse than focusing on their weaknesses. Focus on this of your spouse. People that focus on the weaknesses of their spouse criticize their spouse and talk against them, ruining the foundation of the marriage. Number 5, develop the skill and the grace for management. Problems, management of challenges. If your spouse is behaving with you in a particular way, try to manage him. Manage him. Manage him. Manage him. Number 6, don't try to avoid or run away from your spouse or from the challenges you are facing from him or her. Face the challenges, confront the challenges, and overcome them. It is when you overcome the challenges you are facing from your spouse that you become a success that men can learn from. You are a failure in life if there is nothing men can learn from you. You are a failure in life if there is nothing that men can learn from you. And most of the time, they learn from you when they see how you have confronted the challenges of your life and you have overcome them. It is a man that overcomes the challenges of his life that has story to tell. It is a man that has story to tell that can be a blessing, that people can learn from. Now, that you saw that your wife is very wicked, your wife is stern, your wife is stubborn, your wife is bad, your wife is terrible, and then you run away, you are a failure. You are a success when you confront the oppositions and the challenges you are having from me, and then you overcome it. That is when you have a story to tell tomorrow, and you can be a blessing to men. Finally, handle life and your marriage with maturity. Handle life and your marriage with maturity. Maturity is in your ability to turn oppositions to opportunities and turn challenges to testimonies. Your success in life is being able to turn or convert your spouse from who she has always been to the person that he's supposed to be. I stop there. Does anybody have any question? Did I mention something that you need to be clarified? Today, we are looking at pillars of marriage. The pillar of today is the pillar of understanding. And we have seen the 4 realms of understanding. The last one, our temperament. Pillars of marriage. We are going to the next one tomorrow. We go to the next one tomorrow. Pillar carry the structure of any building. When the pillar collapses, the building collapses. Pillar. Is that the only person that have a question? Okay, 2, 3. Okay, let me take the questions in 2 minutes. Yes, number 1.
Daddy, I want to say God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. I've been following this program. I think this is the first time I'm going to be on site. On Sunday, I was not available. And I saw everything that went on. And I was really blessed. And I think one of the tragedy of life is that we grow old very fast, but we are wise very late. So for some of us, to the level whereby we know fully that we need this, we have to pay attention. But for those who have failed to get it now, it is very difficult for you to create an escape route when you are in the middle of problem, because you'll be overwhelmed. So, but what I just want to say, because I've listed a lot of things down here, life is about management. You talked about opposite in nature. Very good. Then you also talked about work. For you to achieve the best marriage, you need to work and work it out, so that people can say, yes, you have done a great job. But sir, what of in the case of trying to avoid problems? And at the end, let me say you assume. Let me use the word you assume now, because there are kinds of this temperament. I have read about Tim Lyali, and he's talked so much extensively about temperaments and the temperaments that matches together. And what of in the case of the choleric and the phlegmatic you talked about? So many times, if choleric is talking and phlegmatic is keeping quiet, don't think choleric, being a bossy person, can actually take charge of the entire atmosphere and make the phlegmatic look like a slave?
My answer to that one, my understanding, sometimes in marriage, in some cases, it look like that. I have seen cases where choleric match with phlegmatic, and so to say, turn the phlegmatic to become a slave. So to say. But I want to say also that is the only route that can make the marriage to work. So that because naturally phlegmatic finds it difficult in life to act, find it difficult in life to take decision, find it difficult in life to be decisive in life, which is the opposite of the choleric. So most of the time, I have seen marriages. When I talk to the husband, he said, I will ask my wife. Talk to my wife. And by the time we talk to the wife, it is what the wife say that, in fact, by the time if you say, your wife said, he said, that's okay, that's because ultimately the wife becomes the decision taker. The wife becomes the person that begins to rule and begin to administer the affairs of the home. The man may be the person providing the money, providing the other thing. So if you say that if you turn the man to become a slave, I think it's like that. But it brings progress to the home. I have also discovered that God created all the temperaments, and God has reason in creating also. And like I told you when we began this program at the beginning of this month, Foundation of Marriage, I told you that God actually instituted marriage because God knew that every man is created with salient weaknesses. And with that weakness, no man has the capability to fulfill destiny. If he's strong in one area, the area of his weakness will overrule his strength. So God had to create a woman who is strong where he is weak. That's why marriage is complementary and not competitive. So I believe that there is a reason why God did things that way. So my answer is yes, you can result in that.
Thank you very much, Daddy. Because in Africa, I've seen a scenario like that led to divorce because the family of the man came and they accused the woman strongly. You know, like she has used his head.
We will come to that realm maybe during these pillars of marriage.
Okay.
Maybe tomorrow. Maybe I will come back to that realm tomorrow. Leave that area.
Okay.
Because, listen, especially in this part of the world, there is what they call killers of marriage, destroyers, the caterpillars of marriage, the caterpillar that pulled down the pillar of marriage. One of those caterpillars are outside interference. The program of God is that when the man and the woman has gotten married, even if the woman turned the man to become a moron, it's not anybody's problem. Leave them alone. The moment outsiders, father, mother, sibling, friend, step into that marriage, the world will collapse. The way God has wired them, let them get married and pursue their life alone. When we first got married, our mother-in-law was coming to stay with us. My wife's mother. The mama is very much interested in what is going on now. So I was in the room one day when God got married. The mama entered into my wife's room. I was talking to my wife. My wife said, "Mama, you are going home tomorrow. You are not permitted to talk about what's happening in this home." My wife said, "Go back to your husband's house and maintain that one. You can't maintain this one for us." And that's how we carried mama home. The moment you allow outside interference, father, mother, siblings, to interfere. My daughter is getting married in June. There were some issues happening. I decided to be silent. I knew I was, because the moment I began to interfere now, when they get married, I become the director and I won't ruin their home. Until the boy called me. The boy called me and said, "Do I have your permission to give some suggestion?" He said, "Daddy, that's why I called you." I said, "Give a video call. Let the two of you be there tomorrow. And then I'll come and answer." And then the following day, the boy did a video call and called me. And then I stood. I gave my daughter her own area. You can't be my daughter and acting this way. I didn't bring you up like that. These are the protocols and the pillars that I know from God and I've practiced for the past 28 years. That this and this. Okay. My daughter said when they get married, she's not going to leave my name. Now she's going to be called Intercessor Akinbe Lure dash the name of the, and they dragged it and they said, "My father's name is my mark of identity. I don't want to discover. I don't want to discriminate for me." He said, "I have reached this far." He said, much more so, said, "My father's name is not just the human one. I know the spiritual implication and dimension of that name. I want to be connected to that divine source." Which is, intercessor is exceptionally brilliant. Brilliant. And when she talks, in spite of that boy is also over there. That boy respect her. They drag it and drag it. They couldn't. Until they came and the boy brought this on. And I told her, I said, "My daughter, your argument is sound. But the reason why you went to get married is to leave my name. If you want to take my name to add your husband's name, it must be by the consent of the two of you. He is your head. The moment he stands and says, this is where you are going, you have no ground arguing and disagreeing with him. So, I took each of those stands one by one, which settle all the crises that there. But listen, I enter into it because they invited me. It is an abnormality when father and mother, outside interference, come to begin to interfere in what is happening in the matrimonial home between a man and a woman. Now, the problem of the family is that we don't want them to make mistake. You can't go forward in life if you didn't make mistake. Let them make mistakes and learn the lessons of life. I want people on every wedding day, I call the families of the two, the families of the man and the woman. Today, this boy and this girl has left your tutelage. Leave them alone. You interfere, God judge you. Let them make their mistakes and learn their lessons in life. We will come into that one when we come to pillar of marriage. We are going to treat two tomorrow. Two of the pillars of marriage. We are going to treat two tomorrow. When we come to that now, we will return back to that one tomorrow.
Okay, praise the Lord. Daddy, my question is not too complex, but I just need
I'm not hearing you.
My question is not too complex, but I need clarification. In the area where you spoke about, you divided the 4 temperaments into 2 classes, and you said the extrovert and the introvert. Where the extrovert, we have the sanguine and the choleric. So my question is, in a situation whereby the extrovert, that is the choleric, is it possible? You also advised us to marry our opposites. So my question is it
it's
possible?
not my advice. So it's nature. It's not my advice.
Okay.
Nature have it that way.
Okay, sir. So the question is, can, as extroverts, the choleric, can they also marry sanguine? Like, can you combine both extroverts to marry each other? And the introvert, can, like, the phlegmatic also marry a melancholic?
Now, these are psychological. These are psychological opinions from life experiences. We also know that there are exceptions to the rule of life. Laws of life don't go in accurate conformity. There are exceptions. For example, I am sanguine, my wife is choleric. I should have married melancholic. My wife should have married phlegmatic. In the lineage of the extrovert, it is not advisable for extroverts to marry themselves. But I am sanguine, my wife is choleric. We marry from the same class, but we have succeeded in it. But let me tell you, we have succeeded in it because of a great work. Great work. Great work. Great work. I will leave it that way. Under normal condition, it is not advisable. There are certain things that are pieces of advice to young couples that want to marry. Temperament from where they are marrying from. Genotype. You are AS. The person you want to marry is AS or SS. Under normal conditions, somebody is SS. It's advisable to marry AA. AS marrying AS. But these things happen There are exceptions. For example, in this our church, I have seen AS that came with somebody who want to marry that is SS. We stood our ground. At the end of the day, they came that they were convinced. After some time, the lady decided not to marry until the parent called again. He said, that is the person you want to marry. I went to join them, SS plus AS. But that will be on the platform of personal conviction. So, the extrovert and the introvert, there are advice as to how to get married, how to match yourself with the person you're supposed to marry. But there are exceptions to the rule of life. So that's my answer to that one. And finally,
my question is also similar to that, but I want to use one of the temperaments as an example. If a choleric marries a choleric, what's the way out? I know you've touched on this a bit by saying great work. Now, can it succeed with great work on one part? Or can it succeed with great work on one part